been refreshing. I think his post-match or pre-match, both in the interviews before and after the matches, he always comes with an honesty. You know, if he's been angry with the ref or whatever, he can. I remember the match. It's probably last season sometime, I think. But when he went to the referee, I forget which referee it was, and he was absolutely steaming about a particular decision. And he knew that if he went up to the ref, I have an idea it was Michael Oliver. I could be wrong on that, but I think it was. And at the end of the game, he went onto the pitch, as he always does, shaking hands with. But he went straight for the ref and the two assistant referees standing there, as they do in the middle of the pitch before they leave the pitch. And he knew he couldn't say what he really felt. So of course, the manager ordinarily they shake the hands of the linesman and the ref. So he went up there and in great exaggerated terms, and you may have seen this, he sort of shakes their hands like this, and he was saying, "Thank you very much." And he was so angry with two or three decisions that it was absolute sarcasm. "Thank you very much," and even his look and all that. But he probably knew he could hardly be fined for what he said, and therefore he couldn't really be fined anyway. And he would say, "I wasn't being sarcastic. I was thanking them for," but he was. And it was his clever way of escaping a touchline ban for a couple of games. And also, I mean, they fine managers, well, £20,000. It just shows like managers, like players, they're so wealthy. But I always remember that one. So he's a great character. I know I've gone off the subject a bit here, but he's a great character. And another one you may have seen, he was frustrated with a miss by one of his players. This was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And they were playing Leeds when they had that Jesse Marsh, was it, the American manager, who was a bit of a tough guy, actually. I liked his style as a manager, and he always spoke well. He was eventually sacked, I think. But he was quite a tough fella. And anyway, on the touchline, the camera caught this beautifully. Pep had quite a long, loose coat on. It was obviously the winter sometime, playing Leeds, as I say. Yeah. And he was so angry when one of his players missed a chance that he ran up to his water bottle, which was on the floor, kicked it, and it flew directly in the direction of Jesse Marsh. So instantly, it was like a cartoon. Pep turns and chases it in case it hit Jesse Marsh, to apologise. I didn't mean to do that, sort of thing. Yeah. But it was a perfect cartoon reaction. So anyway, that's just something. There's some funny ones to watch of Pep, but he's a very serious football manager. He's a brilliant manager. But to come to the point, I mean, I say that because I think the world of the bloke. I think he's great. Like Klopp, he's very good for the Premier League, and I think it'll be a sad day when Pep goes. But anyway, to answer your question for what Capello said, I've always questioned what is Capello good enough in that role to start criticising one of the top managers in the world? I mean, you've got to see who is saying these things. But so I don't necessarily. Capello's all right, but I don't think he did a great job for England, to be honest. So, be that as it may. What did he say? He sport the Premier League. Now, what I would say is, you watch Man City, and I think aren't they a boring team because they're quick. And to be effective, whatever style you play, you've got to be quick. You shouldn't be just faffing about passing the ball at the back, just to get possession points or whatever. So I've never found them a boring team. And of course, they've got, class players all the way through. They always have had these. All the way through. They always have had these last few years. So it's a bit much to say they're a boring side. What I would say, though, is, as you said, lots of other teams in the division have tried to emulate what Manchester City do. They try, so they've all gone to this passing game.
Yeah.
And I have to say, sometimes if I'm watching a match on Sunday afternoon or even at a match, if a team starts doing this passing around the back and then they pass it to a midfield player and it comes straight back. And sometimes you watch some teams and the defenders, they got the ball, they'll stop. They'll actually
Yeah.
stop with the ball, almost saying, come on, come and get it to the opposition.
Yeah.
And then you think, God, this is so boring. And
Yeah.
it does happen. And a lot of teams do play like that. Now, I wouldn't say, well, I blame Manchester City, but because I think Pep Guardiola's different. It was never quite like that with his team. But he did introduce this idea of a strong passing game, passing out from the back. Most teams still try that. The goalkeeper used to hoof it up the field for the big number 9 or whatever. The last 2, 3, 4 seasons, teams faff about at the back, don't they? And sometimes give away a goal because they do that.
Yeah.
But they still try it, a lot of teams. And that probably is a legacy of this total football that Manchester City have played. The difference is most teams don't play it anything like as cleverly or as well as Manchester City. So, yeah, there is an element in our Premier League now that it can get boring. Now, I mean, the Fulham Saturday when I saw Palace beat Fulham 3-0, it was brilliant. It was end-to-end football. It was quick. It was thrilling. Always goal-mouth action. One of the best games I've seen for a long time. Really great game. A good result from my team's point of view and my point of view. But sometimes nowadays, some games which you see on Match of the Day, or because you only get a clip of it then, but live games on a Sunday or Saturday night, they can get a bit boring, a bit tedious. So, I think, I'm going to do something else. And that's just a shame because I love football. We all do. It's a national game. But yeah, I don't agree really with what Capello said. I wouldn't blame Pep Guardiola, but maybe other managers for trying to emulate something that their players are not really good enough to do. I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that you've explained it that way, I think I'm starting to think more in depth about it and thinking, But it then brings us to the current England manager, Thomas Tuchel, and during one of his press conferences, he said, "I want to see a bit of I can't quite say it like he said it, but what he was trying to get across was."